Huh? What's that? What'd you say? You like my BBC? What? My BBC? Oh, my black bike computer. You like my black bike computer, BBC? Oh, sorry, I had my mind in the gutter. My bad. Anyway, carry on. Anyway, yo, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video, I wanted to give a marginal update on my VeloBuild CX-002 because for the past couple of months, I've been getting a lot of questions from people in the comment sections and some of the forums, just wondering how I feel about this frame now that I've had it now for about 6 months or so. Mainly questions have been surrounding the idea of whether or not you could use this frame for either a all-road road bike or some sort of gravel, as opposed to only using this bike for cyclocross. So in today's video, I'm going to go over some of the updates I've made to this bike since I've had it, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on just exactly how I feel about this bike and whether or not I would still recommend this bike for you guys out there who are looking for a new bike. It is like 90 degrees today, as you guys can kind of figure out. I am out here in nature. I'm about to take a huge dump on one of the trees because that is a part of nature. And yeah, there's a lot of cool single track around here that I've been testing out my VeloBuild CX-002 frame set on. So before we get started, let's first talk about the obvious elephant in the room, which is where has your boy been for like the last 3 months? And it's pretty simple. I'm gonna be honest. So I've been working. So I am back working a 9-to-5 corporate job. When I first started this YouTube channel almost 3 years ago now, my intentions was never really to build it up to the point that I would quit my day job. That was never really the intentions. It was really just to promote and really just and talk about some of the products that I like and things that I would like to recommend to you guys out there. But I'm back to working a 9-to-5 job, which it's been great. It's been nice having a steady income now, which does, if I'm being honest, it does kind of alleviate the idea of needing to always purchase and try out new products, because at this point I can basically just buy whatever bike I want. But that has been taking up a lot of my time, and unfortunately with me being busy with the day job now and sort of other adult responsibilities, I really only have time to do one of two things. I either have time to train at a high level for my cycling fitness or make time to make YouTube videos. And unfortunately right now, because it is summertime, I've decided that my focus is going to be mainly on my cycling fitness. The other reason why I haven't made a lot of videos and why it's been 3 months since my last video is I really haven't had really anything of interest that I wanted to show you guys. I haven't gotten any new frames. I haven't bought any new wheels. I haven't even bought any new components or anything like that. And so sure, I can understand that it's probably important to post more regularly for you guys, just to let you guys know where I'm at with stuff. But the reality is, if I don't have anything inspiring or worth your time to post, then I'm just not going to do it. So that's where I've been at for the last 3 months. But the good thing is I do have some stuff in the pipelines, hopefully before the summer has ended. I have been talking to my good buddy Joe over at Panda Podium. We've been talking about doing some things together, so I should have some stuff to show you guys because he's working on some really cool things as well. I'm also talking to another bike brand, and hopefully I should have a complete bike build, frame set, wheels, everything that's being sent my way. And I also have a couple of wheel sets that should be sent my way as well before the summer ends. So anyway, let's go ahead and talk about some of the components that I have on my VeloBuild CX-002. Unfortunately, where I live at and where this forest preserve is, it is literally right below a direct flight path to O'Hare Airport. So there's basically planes flying directly over me like every 5 minutes. But anyway, here's my bike build. So the most obvious change that I've made for this bike right now, as you guys can kind of see, is I've swapped out those expensive Envy wheels and 32C road tires for a proper set of gravel wheels, because I want to answer the question, can you actually use this bike for a gravel situation? So I have these Yolio gravel wheels that I really like. I've already talked about these when I've had them paired to my Yolio G21 gravel frame set, and I'm running these Specialized Pathfinder Pro in the 38C size, which I really like. I've done tons of gravel on these wheels, or tires I should say. Very reliable. I'm currently running about 35 to 37 PSI, which seems to be pretty comfortable on the rough roads and off-road and gravel. Not so great when you're on tarmac, back because they are pretty squishy, but that is not why you would run these tires, wheels, or the frame set itself. What else have I changed on here? So because I have yet to get a proper power meter for gravel, because this is just a SRAM rival group set, I am running PowerTap P2 pedals with road shoes, which I know it's kind of taboo to be running road shoes with gravel, but I am just kind of testing it out, so it is what it is. What else have I changed on here? The wheels, kind of the main thing. I'm using this handlebar that was originally on my VeloBuild 177. No issues there. I really like those. What else? Sorry guys, I know you guys don't like that I'm always constantly sniffing on my videos, but you're just gonna have to deal with it. SRAM rival ETAP. This is a really good group set, and especially for the price, if you can get it on sale, I think it's a no-brainer to go wireless for a setup like this, because especially when you're out in gravel or single track, wherever, where you're constantly shifting in and out of the big ring, it makes a lot of sense to have electronic shifting because it's very reliable. I really like the size of the levers. Now I'm running ETAP on my Specialized LA Sprint SRAM Force, but I reckon to say that for some reason, because this group set is slightly newer than the SRAM Force, that it's just really reliable. Everything is comfortable. I love the size of the levers, and everything works just flawlessly. The shifting on here is crisp, it's snappier. I would reckon to say it's even slightly snappier and more reliable than the SRAM Force, but it works really, really well. Another thing I wanted to point out, and I apologize to the manufacturer because they sent this light to me like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago. But this company, they're called Olight. They sent me out this bike light to just kind of review and just kind of talk about. There's really not too much to discuss because at the end of the day, it is just a bike light, but I really like it so far. It runs about, I think, $70 or $80. I'll be sure to link this product in the description down below, but it works as well as you would expect for a bike light. The battery lasts a really, really long time, so if you're doing tons and tons of miles, you probably could get by only having to recharge this maybe, I don't know, once a week, once every 5 days. It's got all the different modes you would expect. It's got a steady state, it's got a blinking mode, it's got some really cool indicators to let you know where the battery is at. But yeah, the company name is Olight, and I forgot the model of this, but I really do like this light. The only downside about this that I don't like, and I've talked to the brand about this, is unfortunately this particular model only comes in 1 or 2 colors. It's like blue or red. They don't have an all black version, which I think is it's really disappointing because most people just want to use black for a light, and you have to go with either blue or red. But yeah, check out this light. It's worth the price for what it is. Super solid, no rattles, it doesn't overheat, and it just works as you want it to be for a heavy duty light for both the fall and spring seasons. Next up, let's talk about this bike computer that I've been using. This is from iGPSORT. I hope I'm saying their brand correctly. I forgot which model this is, but this is their top of the line model, which I'll also include a description down below. I really like this model. I think it only retails for, it's definitely less than $200, so it's cheaper than the current Wahoo Bolt. It's color, it has a lot of the different things that you would expect for a bike computer at this price, and it works well. It's very accurate. It's easy to upload your workouts to Strava once you get back home. Some of the only downsides to it is there are no Strava live segments on here, which I know might be important if you're chasing comms. And I'm not sure how great the reroute feature works if you're using navigation, but other than that, for $200, it's a pretty solid option if you are sick of using either Wahoo or Garmin, or maybe you are interested in buying the Hammerhead if you can find it on sale. But I heard that the battery life on that is not so great, and the battery life on this is really, really good. And what's really cool about it too is that it starts up right away when you press power. If that's important to you, then yeah, I really like this computer for the price. So let's continue. Alrighty, so what is it like to live with this bike on a day in and day out basis? Well, first of all, because I am a competent bike builder, I haven't had any issues with creaks, rattles, nothing like that. This bike is very comfortable. It feels, the best way I can describe this bike so far is it feels extremely bulletproof. You could basically just bomb over rough pavement with it. And yeah, I definitely think that this is a bike that you could use as a gravel bike. As far as the setup and the geometry on this bike, I definitely wouldn't use it for a road bike, despite the fact that it looks like an aero road frame. It just doesn't work for me as far as geometry goes, and I do think that at this price point for $600 for this VeloBuild frame set, I think you should just basically buy a road frame if you are planning to actually use a road bike in any capacity. But so far, very reliable frame set. I haven't had any issues to report. Like I said in the last video for this frame, this is definitely one of the better, if not the best frame that VeloBuild has offered so far. I hope that this trend for this sort of quality VeloBuild continues on with some of the road offerings. As far as the road bikes goes, in my opinion, the VeloBuild 177 is their best modern road frame. I didn't really like the 168 so much. It was okay. You know, it's kind of a copy of the Specialized S07, but the 177 and this VeloBuild CX-002 are the two frames that I think can easily pair together. You know, if you have the budget for it. You figure it's basically $1,100 USD for both frame sets. You get both of those frames and you'll be set to go for both road and off-road adventures. Now, another question that I've been getting all the time is, if you only could buy this VeloBuild CX-002 frame set or the Renaskelta Granite all-road frame set, which one would you purchase? And this actually becomes really difficult because at the end of the day, I think those frames both are apples to oranges. So if the majority of your riding is road or even sort of rough road situations, then I think the Renaskelta would be the frame I would get, especially if you could only have one frame to rule all of the different pavements that you're going to be experiencing, everything from rough road to road, etc. That bike can handle up to 38C tires. But if you only could have two bikes, say a road bike and then some sort of an off-road adventure bike, in my opinion, I think that this will be the frame to get over that. Again, so if you only can have one frame, I would say get the Renaskelta, but if you can have two frames, I would say get this one, because this is gonna be good enough to be a proper gravel bike. You can still use it for cyclocross races of course, because at the end of the day, it is a cyclocross frame set. Now, how does this bike compare to, say, my Yolio G21 frame set? Now, that's been interesting too, because this bike is a cyclocross frame set, it does sit a little bit taller. I think one of the downsides of using this bike, if you are not using it for a cyclocross race, is the top tube. Yeah, it's a little bit taller than you probably would want. There is some potential for toe overlap because the reach on this is a little bit short. But other than that, it's very, very solid over rough pavement. It just works, honestly. And so with this bike, with the CX-002, this bike feels more like you're sitting on top of the frame, versus with the Yolio frame, that feels more like you're kind of more so inside the cockpit, a little bit kind of more inside the frame, if that makes sense. But both bikes are very, very capable, and honestly, I'm just happy that we live in a time where you can get a proper off-road frame set for like $600 now. So kudos to VeloBuild for releasing this frame. And like I said, I hope we continue to see a trend of them pumping out quality frame sets. Sheesh, man, that looks good. Regardless that whether or not you think that a cyclocross bike could not be a good bike for off-road or for single track or for gravel, you have to at least admit that my bike looks pretty dope, especially with this matte black. I was a bit skeptical at first about going with a matte black finish, because all my other bikes usually have a little bit more color in them, because I'm a color guy myself. But I really have been enjoying this frame a lot. So right now where we are at, we basically are in this sort of low-key single track area that runs here just outside the city on the north side. It runs along one of the main rivers here, which is the North Branch River. So it's really cool because it actually runs adjacent to one of the main bike paths that are paved around here. And this is one of the benefits that you get when you have a gravel bike, a cyclocross bike, off-road bike, whatever you want to call it. You're able to do paths like these, and as always, there's always planes, helicopters flying over me. But bikes like these are made for roads like this. And this path you see right in front of you, this runs for another 30 miles or so, and you'll see horses on this trail, you'll see a lot of wildlife, you'll see deer, you'll see all the really cool cyclocross racers in the Chicagoland area who bike skills that they have are just way more than I have, because my bike handling absolutely is atrocious, which is why it's really good to come out here on paths like this. But man, yeah, I've been enjoying this bike so far. Like I've said earlier in this video, if you can only have one bike for off-road, this would probably be the bike to get. For only $600 for the frame set. It's very well built, it's super solid, and it's gonna get you everything that you need. Very, very reliable. So that is going to do it for today's video. Huge thank you to VeloBuild again for sending out this frame set. Big thank you to all you guys for being so patient. Like I said, sometimes life gets in the way of putting out YouTube videos, but I'll be sure to be a little bit more regular with my uploads once I have some things worthwhile to show you guys. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, man, I'm so dark, man, good Lord. Anyway, as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below, and I'm gonna check you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.